In the wake of last Thursday's attack on Temple, Israel, first responders close to home have been receiving their due gratitude for bravery and service that they displayed on Thursday during the wake of that attack. That includes those closest to the situation in the West Bloomfield Police Department, whose training and quick action helped all 106 children, as well as many staff and teachers, escape the building during the initial attack and as fires broke out afterward. Joining us with more insight from the West Bloomfield Police Department is Deputy Police Chief Stephen Richter. Deputy Chief, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. I know it's a busy time and a difficult time for your officers. First and foremost, so much that our community went through on that day and in the hours and days afterward. That includes our first responders. How are your officers holding up in the days past?
They're doing good. We had a lot of officers respond to the scene. We had over 31 officers that were inside and had some various levels of exposures. 17 of our officers were treated at the hospital. And then plus just everybody else that was helping out on the periphery. It was pretty surreal. And we've been talking through it, and the response and the outpouring has been good.
And we talk so often, especially when we think about our fire department, that our fire department doesn't respond to a whole lot of fires in the community. We have that also sort of be the case for the police department. Some of the more intense scenes that we see in many other communities across Michigan and across the country are not necessarily commonplace for our police department. That being said, very well prepared, and they sprung into action and did great work on Thursday. But seeing that in a community that is so close-knit, where our police officers value community policing, getting to know their community, can be very difficult and be traumatizing even for our officers. There's been so much said about the support services available to the community after this attack last Thursday. What supports may be in place for our police officers and other first responders if they're in need of somebody to talk to at this time?
Sure, those are good things. So our department has a peer support team that has been in contact through West Bloomfield Township. We also have support there as well. On Saturday, our peer support team held a meeting at the West Bloomfield High School, and we opened that up to any first responder, not just our own, that was present at the scene on Thursday. That was a good turnout, and that helped. Going forward, it's going to be more of just the constant contact, talking with our people, making sure that they know they can reach out, and if it's not to us, one of the other places that they can get help. But that's the key, is just talking through it. And briefly, just to touch on what you said, for us, this did hit home. Temple, Israel is one of those places where there's a lot of officers that work off duty, that know the people there personally, just because of the things that have happened in the community, just our close relationship that we work with all of our house of worship. So for some of them, it did drive it home, because these weren't just random faces. I mean, these were our friends, and we knew many of them by name.
How do you believe that this unfortunate situation, something that any community would never hope happens to them, and certainly is not something you take any joy out of whatsoever, how do you hope that this will bring our community closer to our first responders?
Well, I think you've already seen some of that. I mean, we've always been lucky in West Bloomfield, and we've always had the support of the community. But just the day of, Shenandoah Country Club right across the street, they opened up the doors for the evacuees, and they helped to feed the children, and they kept everybody safe while we were working on reunification. And then the very next night, Temple Israel was able to host their services from Shenandoah. But West Bloomfield has always been a great community for support and coming together. And we demonstrated that again here over the weekend with this horrific attack. Nobody said, everybody asked, what can I do? And to the point of where, unfortunately, we love it, but sometimes we do have to tell people, well, thank you, and we'll get back to you. But right now, I mean, there's just so much that we can only take so much help. But that's just one of the benefits of working in a place like West Bloomfield, where everyone gets along, regardless of your race or your religion and stuff like that.
Deputy Police Chief Stephen Richter is with us from the West Bloomfield Police Department. More updates on public safety from them can be found on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD. Deputy Chief, so much has been said in the days past, especially on Thursday, about how much training played in to the ultimately safe outcome with all 106 children, all 140 plus people in the building at Temple Israel on that day, making their way out safely at the end of that crisis. How much of a factor did that training play into your officers' ability to snap into action, and plus with that familiarity of the area, be able to get there, know where to go, and get people out safe?
Well, no doubt about it. It's the training that allowed us to act, right? That's why we train. So when these things happen, we don't have to think about what to do. We just do. And that goes for like everybody, starting with Temple Israel's own security staff, comes to us and all the other departments that came to help us. Like I'm sure you've heard, or there's been reporting elsewhere, there was over 600 officers from 42 agencies that came to assist us. And unfortunately, in our line of work, we hope that we never have to use it, but we constantly train, because when we do need to use it, it'd be too late if we didn't practice. So, I mean, we constantly train here in West Bloomfield and in other departments across Michigan. It's unfortunately, it's part of the norm that we have to, because it's not nowadays. It doesn't seem if it's a question of will something like this happen. It's just a question of when, and unfortunately, we are in our when right now.
And you never want anybody to live in fear, but that is certainly the reality of our days. You just never know, and it's better to know what to do if that situation ever comes up. Certainly played a major role in getting everybody out of Temple Israel safely last week, Thursday. On that point, not wanting people to live necessarily in fear, but live with preparation and know what to do. What sort of opportunities are available to the community, either with consultation from the police department to other partners, or directly with the police department, if businesses, if neighborhoods, and so on, want to undergo some training to put themselves in the safest position possible in the future?
Well, sure. Some of that stuff we do work with our partners. There are times that we offer ALICE training. That would be something that you could just reach out and ask. We don't have a set schedule, but we have been doing that for a while. And again, going back to it's just preparing in yourselves. Like I said, that could be seen from Temple Israel. So again, I mentioned before their security staff, but it was more than that, right? It's their teachers. It was the people in the offices, right? They train. They train on this on a regular basis for these reasons. And that's what most people, unfortunately need to think about, is nobody wants to do it, but it's just one of those things that it is a necessity, because when something does happen and everybody knows how to act, what role they play, and then you can hope for good outcomes. And this was the best outcome that you could have. All of the teachers and the staff were able to gather up the children, and with the assistance of the law enforcement officers, we were able to get them off campus into a safe place, and that came from training.
And lastly, Sheriff Bouchard mentioned this in some of the press conferences, that getting that insight from the people in the community when something suspicious is visible to them, or when something out of the ordinary happens, like somebody running a vehicle into a building, that's something that you want to alert local authorities to as soon as possible. Time is always of the essence. But there's always that if you see something, say something element that we hear so often. What should people be looking for? Not necessarily being on high alert all the time, but what are some of those oddities that may be worth pointing out to our local police departments that could potentially save lives?
Well, so the reason we keep harping on this see something, say something, is nobody knows their place where they live, their community, their business better than the people that are there. They're there on a daily basis. So basically an oddity or anything like that is just something that's not normal, right? I mean, usually if something's not right, whether, hey, I've never seen that person before, I've never seen that vehicle before, this is an odd time for whatever it is to be happening. That's why we rely so heavily on the community, because as police officers, we're stretched thin. I mean, we're coming out and we try to pay attention, but we don't know what vehicle is supposed to be where. That is what you do. And we really don't care. If you see something and you have a question, give us a call. I mean, the worst case scenario is we go out and we check it and the person's supposed to be there or the vehicle is supposed to be there. And then it puts you at ease and it puts us at ease. But if you don't call us, we won't know about those things.
And it's all good advice, and it all played a big role in keeping our community safe during its darkest hour last week, Thursday. Deputy Chief Richter, I want to thank you for your time. I know it's very busy in West Bloomfield at this time for our first responders, for our police department as this investigation goes on. I want to extend our community's thank you once again to you and all of your officers. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.